everyone, welcome to another episode of Live Saigon, Eat Saigon. I'm Vanessa, and today I wanted to share with you a really fantastic appetizer that I actually learned here while living in Vietnam for the past few months. And it is called Kho Huet Kho, which is this caramelly sauce that you'll often see in Sung Ram and Thep Kho. And Huet, it means to strike or lighter, which in this appetizer, essentially the vegetables that you have, you strike it into the caramel dipping sauce. It's really phenomenal. It has that salty, sweet taste to it, and locals here love it as well as foreigners. With the recent turn of events with the coronavirus, we obviously want to keep safe in many aspects, but more importantly, we want to be as healthy as possible, especially at a time like this. And with the vegetables that I had in my fridge, all of the nutrients that they have in it, I thought, hey, why not share this with you guys? And then that way, if you have any leftovers in your fridge, you're trying to clear out, you're at home, you're staying safe, you can just make this amazing dish and enjoy it with your family members. All right, so let's begin. We are going to be making Kho Huet two ways. The traditional way, which is usually made with pork belly, which you'll see here, and it's also made with dried shrimp. So the first ingredient for the traditional way to make Kho Huet is going to be pork belly, dried shrimp. I had this in my fridge, and what I did was I rehydrated it. So when you rehydrate dried shrimp, you'll put it in hot water for about 10 to 15 minutes. Just leave that in a bowl, let it soak up, and then when you remove it, you drain it, you get rid of the excess water, and then this is what you have. Kho Huet can never be complete without fish sauce. You will also put in garlic and shallots, some green onions chopped up, of course, chili, cilantro that we'll just sprinkle on at the very end. Okay, so we are actually going to boil the vegetables first, and then we're going to let that sit, put that to the side, and then we will start on the traditional Kho Huet and then the modern way. Okay, so it looks like the water is just about boiling. I am going to start with the vegetables that take the longest to boil. So while the vegetables are boiling, I am going to maximize my time by cutting up the pork belly. So with the pork belly, we're going to cut it up into little tiny minced cubes. Okay, so it looks like those vegetables are boiling in there. I'm going to add the rest of it. Okra's not really for everybody because it can have that slimy texture to it. But for me and for Vietnamese tradition and within Vietnamese cuisine, we often use it in our soup, such as canh chua. So I've grown up eating it, really love it. But if you do not like okra, you do not have to add that in there. What you can do is, with broccoli, you can add some cauliflower. Some people like to use different squashes, pumpkin. So anything that has a really mild taste to it, then you can boil it and then have that with your Kho Huet. Okay, so they are perfectly cooked, boiled through. I am going to take it out of the hot water and then put it in some ice cold water so that they don't cook even longer if I were to just put it under running water. So I'm going to set this aside and then drain it in a couple of minutes. Let's get started on our Kho Huet sauce. So I have here the pork belly that I cut up earlier. We're going to start with that first because we're going to render the pork in the fat, and then we'll add in everything else. So you'll see here I have a little tiny clay pot. You can find this at your local goods store, Asian supermarkets, or you could just use a small little pot, a little saucepan. It's up to you. Add in a little bit of vegetable oil, maybe about half a tablespoon. I have this on at medium heat. So that is nice and brown. Not well done, but about 70%, 80% done. Then we'll add everything else in. I'm now going to add in the dried shrimp. I'm going to add in the sauce. So nước mắm, you want to use about 3 tablespoons. Now we're going to add in the sugar. We're going to add in the garlic and the shallots. Put that lid back on for just a little bit, turn down the heat. to low. Let that sit. Then at the very end, I'll add in some green onions, I'll add in a little bit of black pepper, and then add a chili in, and then it'll be done. And then we'll start on the modern way to make colwet. So it looks like this is just about done. I'm going to take this off the stovetop and let it sit for just a little bit, and then we'll get started on the modern sauce, and then we'll come back and we'll dip our vegetables in both. So that's the traditional way of making colwet. There's also a modern way that I'm going to teach you, and that's for people that may have allergies with fish sauce, or maybe they just don't like the taste of nuoc mam. I know it can be a little pungent for some people. So I wanted to do a different approach with that. With that being said, instead of pork belly, we're going to use ground pork here. We're still going to add the dried shrimp in there. I am going to make the modern colwet with soy sauce. So I have here 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. And I'm actually going to use oyster sauce, so a little bit of that. So we are going to start on the modern way of making colwet. This is for people that don't really like the taste of fish sauce. I understand it can be a very strong flavor, so the alternative is going to be with soy sauce. But first, I want to go ahead and render the ground pork into the clay pot, and then we'll add in all the different seasonings. I'm going to add in a little bit of vegetable oil. I'm going to add just a little bit of the ground pork. It smells so nice. All right, so that's just about cooked, about 85% through. I'm going to add in the dried shrimp. Now I'm going to add in the soy sauce. So I'm going to add in about 3 tablespoons of that. I'm going to be generous with the sugar as well. Keep in mind, we still want to keep the salty, sweet taste of things there. See, it has a nice brown color to it. It smells so delicious. The pork, the shrimp, the soy sauce. I'm gonna add in just a little bit of pepper. I'm gonna turn the heat down to low. It was on medium earlier. And then, last but not least, the green onions and 1 chili. I am so ready to dig into this. My apartment smells so heavenly, you have no idea. So as you can see, I have here colwet. I have this modern way of making it, and that's with soy sauce. And I use ground pork instead of the pork belly. So this is a great alternative if you just don't want that fishy taste. And this is the traditional way. This was the dish that I had when I first moved to Saigon. And I really, really enjoyed it so much. I've even brought my friends to try it at different restaurants here in Saigon, and they loved it. So this colwet is with pork belly, has a dried shrimp in there as well. And then I've got my medley of vegetables here. So let's go ahead and dig in. I'm going to start off with my favorite vegetable, which is going to be the bitter melon. I know some of you are probably snickering and saying it's so gross, but I promise you, when you dip this vegetable into this sauce, it's amazing. Okay. You can see that right there. Use my chopsticks to put some more of it on there. Oh, so good. The modern colwet, it's still got that nice salty finish to it, but there's more of a sweeter texture because you can really taste the soy. And then the dried shrimp in there really complements it, so it gives it enough of that seafood taste, but not overpowering like nuoc mam may be. So I'm actually going to try the traditional way, which I'm super excited. Dip that in the sauce, the dried shrimp, and the pork belly. This one definitely has a nuoc mam taste to it, but still so good. The carrots have a natural sweetness to it, of course, so it just balances everything out. You can taste the pepperiness. You can taste the dried shrimp in there. The green onions are a nice touch as well. I really like it. So once again, people, the reason why I made this, I had a ton of vegetables in my fridge. With everything going on with the coronavirus, I thought it'd be fitting. It's a good way to build your immune system. It's healthy, it's light. But I also wanted to spread the message with the coronavirus that with everything that's going on, everyone, please be safe, take care of yourselves, and more importantly, practice kindness and love. I can't stress that enough. The world has enough hate and madness going on. Don't add to it. And if you like what you see, please like, subscribe, tell everyone about this YouTube channel. Live Saigon, Eat Saigon. More importantly, in the comments section, leave your comments. If you've had this dish, let me know what you thought about it. If you have tried making the modern way of kawet, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are and which you prefer or what kind of vegetables you like to dip it in. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.